a very loaded question because the best market for Ashish is not the best market for Michael, is not the best market for you if you're listening right now. It depends on your budget, depends on the time that you have, depends ultimately on your goals. If you're making $1 million a year, the last thing you actually need is more cash because that gets taxed. What
Right.
you need is tax savings, like wealth creation. Welcome, everyone. We wanted to do something a little different today on the inner circle. We should do more Q&A, but I wanted to have an opportunity to talk to Ashish and Smita, who joined the program in July, or what you guys were in you were the first cohort, July, I believe. So I've been in the program 9 months now. Wanted to give them a chance for them to share their experience. So guys, thanks for doing this doing this with me.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
Fair enough. What I love about why I really enjoy, like my wife and I, Liz, we really enjoy this program, really enjoy operating it, growing it, working with our clients is, really just like getting to know you guys better, clients that, we worked for a long time, just being able to develop that relationship. And, although, we've never met in person, I feel like I know you guys just because, I've seen each other so much over the past year and, really happy and excited to share the story and successes that you guys have had. So, all right, enough of me talking. Maybe do we just introduce the audience? We have 91 people on here, so you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you guys do?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having us on. Ashish, we're originally from Southern California. We live in Oakland in the Bay Area. I'm a dentist. I work for a dental group here. Been a dentist for almost 24 years.
And I'm Smita, and from California also. Well, yeah, we live together because we're married. And what do I do? So I'm in finance. I do FP&A, financial planning and analysis for an insurance company, a homeowner's insurance company now, actually. So I've been doing this for like 20 years. That's not really that much fun for me anymore.
So what
And there you go. So
what's been fun in taking up your time then? Actually, I'm curious. So, like, why? Like, what actually? I don't think I've asked you this question before. Actually, why actually did you decide to join me and Liz? This is before we had like the website and all the testimonials and all like the proof points now that we have. Like, it was real. I mean, really, y'all took a leap of faith on me. So, curious.
Well, if you ask me, it all started 10 years ago when
God.
my better half fell on
We got 50 minutes today. Sorry, we really,
he broke his nose and then he got it fixed last year. And in the time that he was recovering, go ahead.
Yeah, well, in the time that I was recovering, the recovery was nowhere as bad as I thought, so I had nothing to do. And then I literally was just pissed about how much taxes we were spending. And then I looked back, especially over the last couple years, and I think it was like out of sight, out of mind on how much tax we had paid over the last couple years. It's just the two of us and the baby, which is a dog. We don't have kids. We are both W-2 employees. And so the tax bill was like 180 plus. And it was like a real kind of kick in the nuts in a way, and also just like eye-opening, and also just kind of our head in the sand of not really understanding that part of it, or not wanting to understand, and just kind of assuming that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that led me to me checking on taxes, and I'm sure like Instagram and everybody's listening got me into some rabbit hole of other ways maybe we can find some tax deductions, and that led.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so that was it. Basically, like the tax savings is what the initial issue was, and that started actually. I mean, this was not a long drawn out like, hey, we've been mulling over this for years. I had my surgery July 1st of last year, and then I basically obsessed over this for about a week, and then I had to package it the right way to convince the boss.
I didn't need any packaging.
Yeah.
I love real estate.
Yeah.
I love like in my spare time, I like to go look at properties and tour them, and like it wasn't a big sell for me. So
Yeah, but it had to be packaged. It had to be packaged because this was going to be a leap of faith of trying to like do this business, and the way, some place, there's a ton of people. As soon as you get on the algorithm, you get all these people that they do it all for you, or you don't have to do anything, and this and that. And then your feed came up, and for some reason it just spoke to me. It just seemed like you guys were very similar to us. I mean, you have kids, we don't, but you know two people with that we still want to think of ourselves as younger, but like trying to get out of what the day-to-day job is and trying to maybe get to the next phase of life instead of having to do the 9 to 5, which is your story and Liz's story. And so yeah, so that's where it kind of led to you guys.
I appreciate that. I think the point about, like, packaging it is, like, actually, like, pretty important because I think it works really well as a couple, like, when both partners in a relationship are, like are really aligned on doing this because, 1, the tax side just works a lot easier with 2 people, not 1, to meet the material participation hours so you can get the tax benefits. And 2, I think this is a more enjoyable experience, like, you have something that you can, like, work on together. It's not just the who did the dishes or if you have kids, like, who's picking the kids today, right? It's kinda like, "Oh, hey, we actually have something that's different." And you have
Oh,
just a different surface area to, like, interact and a different language, a different thing to do. I found it to be really helpful. So I'm actually curious, so, like, as you, and, like, we actually like, I have these questions here, but these questions we've never asked before. I never asked you guys before. But as you were looking at kind of the other people that were competitors, or, offerings out there, besides my age, I guess. But, like, was there something that was like, "Oh, hey, I've been kinda stuck, but maybe this guy has a solution," or maybe, him and Liz have a solution? Was there something
I think
more
it was just that. It was you and Liz. And for us, like, we were both talking, like, the new year happened and we're like, like, we're just dragging and like going to work, like we needed something new that we could do together. And I always told him, like, I should be an assistant at your office. And he's like, no, I don't want to work with you. And I just thought this is such a great opportunity. And we've had a lot of fun doing it. We've seen different sides of each other, which has been really fun. So yeah, I think it was the pair of you that kind of that resonated with us really deeply. I think, and especially after listening to your podcasts and things.
We do have a podcast. So it's STR Like the Best if you go on Apple, and I gotta get you guys on the podcast actually. It's on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So if you guys like podcasts, please do check it out.
Yeah,
Um,
to be honest, the podcast actually was the closer for me. Like I still remember the intake call with Martina, and she was going through the whole thing and the cost and this and that, and I said, okay, I'm like, this sounds like the right match in terms of us, you being our mentors and us learning from you. And we also realized, like with our jobs, we are very busy. That if we
yeah,
were going into this, we wanted to have mentorship. We wanted somebody to guide us through this, so we don't. Because obviously, you could do this on your own, but you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Because we were talking through this even just yesterday, all the different things where it was either A or B, and either you and Liz told us a decision and we didn't double guess it, we just went with it and moved forward, and they were always the right decisions, and the other way would have been backtracking a lot. And so we knew we wanted a mentor to kind of help us get through it. And I told Martina, I'm like, okay, this all sounds good, but there's like a 5 to 10% chance that I feel like I'm gonna wire you this money and I'm never gonna see it. And I
I
literally
mean,
told her
true.
that, and she started laughing, and she's like, "Well, have you listened to the podcast?" And I had, and she says, "Those podcasts are like now probably 3 years old. So you've
Yeah,
been around doing the podcast for a while. So you're not just somebody who just showed up a month ago.
Some young guy just
So the podcast where I'm like, you're right. I mean, I guess you have been, online with a certain following, and so you weren't just popping up,
yeah.
prior, and so there was some legitimacy there, and so that really did help close the deal.
I appreciate that. The podcast is by far my favorite medium of communication. So actually, have like a connect like this. Actually, like have a conversation with someone. You guys should listen to one today. Actually, so I do one with this kid Rajan Cheetah. He 23 years old, graduated from UVA, and has built this like amazing following online and built this cabin from scratch in rural Virginia
wow.
and just like one of the most more mature, like 23-year-olds I've ever met. Just like, it really gives me faith in like, okay, good parenting and, you know,
the next generation.
And STR, yeah, there's hope for there's hope for the next generation. And I actually asked him at the very what I really like his question at the very end of the pod was actually like super insightful. Even for me, it was like super insightful, not just as an investor, but as a parent. So that'll come out in a few weeks, I hope. And so I hope that you guys will listen to that and hopefully enjoy it. All right, let's get back to we'll go back to the questions. So the deal, right? And obviously, like you can keep it high level because obviously, like I don't want 99 people to replicate what you did. But maybe just walk us through kind of the process from your side, like as we were maybe just start from like the market selection and like just talk about how if it was that or maybe something else that where you got stuck and kind of through the program or through talking with me was able to kind of unclog the thinking.
So we originally were like, let's get a property in Hawaii. And then we realized we don't have enough money. So then Michael helped. I mean, I'd say that's probably where we got the most stuck is figuring out where to invest in our property. But we wanted something close enough that it was a quick flight. We're in California. So we really narrowed it down pretty quickly to Colorado. And then within Colorado, we were sort of looking around in the submarkets over there. So I'd say that probably took the most time. Do you want us to go through like exactly how we found our property too?
No, 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 I don't think we no, I mean, I don't think we can do that, but I think more of just, like, that process, right, of, like, understanding what you guys wanted, right, but also your constraints, as you guys joined in July, and as, I've done this now many, many times after you, just kind of refining that process, where I've really found, a big value in the process that we've created now, right? Joanna wasn't there before, we've really kind of we built out a lot more team and infrastructure since you guys joined. We have like a questionnaire that you fill out, kind of
We can talk
informed a
about
lot by by you got the kind of the earlier conversations, and then Joanna does the intake process where they explain the program and how we work and how do some more discovery, and then they talk to me for an hour and go to the market selection. Because what I really try to hone in on is I want to be the right fit for you guys. Like,
yeah,
it's not just like, oh, what market cash, I get like questions like, what's the best market? That's a very loaded question because the best market for Ashish is not the best market for Michael, is not the best market for for if you're listening right now. It depends on your budget, depends on the time that you have, depends ultimately on your goals. If you're making $1 million a year, the last thing you actually need is more cash because that gets taxed. What
right.
you need is tax savings, like wealth creation. So there's these nuances there that I think are important that as you kind of go through if you're listening, you're going through the process, we really help you uncover. And then that narrows down to the property, right? And then so maybe talk about that. Like you have a market identified, how is it like working with the agents and being able to get our help on some of the heavy lifting on the analysis. Maybe if you want to talk about that a little bit.
I think once you sent us you did the intake and you sent us some information on different markets that might be a good fit, and then we chatted about it for an hour. That was super super helpful in the process, or else we would not have narrowed it down that quickly. There's just absolutely no way. So that was a huge help. Then
Yeah, remember we even talked to Trevor's.
yeah,
Yeah, we have a neighbor who's a real estate agent who has a mom who's in Hawaii who's a real estate agent, and we even talked to her waiting for your intake call,
Yeah.
thinking we were really already honed in,
yeah,
and we were not. And the intake call really helped to kind of direct us in the right
right,
direction for our budget, and that was
exactly.
really helpful to just kind of trim the fat and the noise, and then kind of focus in on Colorado and some markets in Colorado.
Yeah, and then the other thing is I was planning a trip to Colorado anyways, so I'm like,
Yeah.
hey,
That
why don't
was
we?
like really serendipitous
But
actually.
oh, that was incredible. Yeah.
It was. So we're like, hey, let's just, if that's one of the recommendations, let's just check it out. So that's what we did. So I went there. I took the day off work and went and toured. You got us in contact with the best agent, like
Yes.
Jonathan from
Huge. Good neighbor.
Good Neighbor.
Yeah.
Just awesome team. And he set up a bunch of appointments and we went around and looked at some properties. I fell in love with one property. Um, and we underwrote it. And the way the process worked for the underwrite, this is so good because I was like, okay, here, Michael, can you underwrite it? And you're like, no, you need to do it and then send it back to us. And so we can review it, which was so good because for us, we wanted to learn the process of like, how do you actually do this? Like if somebody just did it for us, we wouldn't learn for our next property. And so we went through the process of underwriting. It was a good deal. We put it in an offer. I was heartbroken. Somebody else got it. But then the other property that we saw ended up being like, I was like, this is actually a good property. Is it the one that I like originally wanted to know, but is it a good investment? Actually, yeah, it is. So we did the same process. We did the underwriting and you guys gave us a thumbs up. And we went for it. We put in an offer and we got the home.
Yeah, like sometimes like what you love what you love may not be aesthetically or personally may not be the right investment property.
Yeah.
And I think you've heard me say this a lot of times, like just like make the money in your investment property and vacation where you want a vacation. Like you don't need a vacation in your investment property. I've done that before and it is the worst decision ever because all you do is like, oh, I need to work on this, I need to work on that, and it becomes much less of a vacation.
Yeah.
I did that last year with some friends up in the Catskill house that we bought, and I'm never doing that again. I was just like playing concierge the whole time, and it was like not an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
But the one part I will highlight is as we've continued to evolve the program. So now, just for folks of you guys who are listening, we do the underwriting. My team will do the underwriting for you actually,
Mm.
and you will learn to. You still have access to all the materials, but we will do the heavy lifting for you and actually do that work. We'll explain how we kind of got to that messaging or how we got to that, how we got to the answer, and you can ask us questions and refine that. We do that now is because it's kind of just makes the process a little more streamlined. But if you want to do it, if you want to learn to do it yourself, and we can obviously teach you on that as well. So okay, well let's talk. I just talk results, right? So how's it going? How's the property performing, and how is the tax situation now that we're after April 15th?
We ended up moving pretty fast. Like it went really quick. Like we were in the program in like middle to end of July. She was in Denver for a concert, picked a place. We put an offer down. We that was in early, like that's like August 10th. We closed by September 5th. We actually were going to Hawaii, and that's kind of where we closed, like just for vacation. Mind you, I haven't even seen the place yet. I didn't see the place till after we closed and got the keys, and before like the first when the design was going to happen. So we moved pretty quick, and like in Colorado and stuff, unlike some other states, you can close in less than a month, and it can move pretty quick.
Very quickly.
Yeah,
So results.
results.
No, well, by the way, moving quickly is like
Yeah, it was
you're
huge.
it's fast because you get up and running and then you start hitting the high season, and when the leaves change, and then the wintertime. I know snow wasn't like fantastic this year. You get those 100 hours, and then you get the tax. Then you get nice. Well, I won't steal your thunder, but you get a
Oh,
nice surprise, and not surprise, but you get a nice like validation in April.
Oh yeah, and I mean again, like the moving quick part was we didn't realize how great that was because again, it was like it was making decisions quickly. I think one of the things we talked about yesterday is you guys really help us make decisions quickly because you can really just get bogged down by over analyzing. And I guess you want to do your due diligence, but at the end of the day, you got to like make a decision and move. And like your mentorship and your team really helped to kind of simplify to make a decision and either go with it or like don't and move on.
Yeah,
Rolling over things because we ended up like even in the cohort we ended up being just a little earlier than some of the other people in the area, so we got the designer earlier, and then the designers got busy, and then we were able to like get everything set up within 2 months and up and running, and we weren't scrambling to get a couple of bookings in December in order to qualify. So we didn't realize how getting done quickly and just moving and making decisions and keeping moving forward, how much, no matter how quick anybody does anything, it always takes a little longer.
yeah,
And we ended up launching right before Thanksgiving, and we're like, okay, we hope we'll get two, maybe three in December. If not, we'll call some friends and do some fake bookings or something like that. And as soon as we launched, we got 2 bookings, like right before Thanksgiving and the week of Thanksgiving, and we couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then we were off and running.
Off and running.
And that
Right.
made the experience fun for us.
Yes.
Like really fun. And then come April, it was really fun when
Okay,
we
hold
got
on. But okay, actually, before we go on that, I know everyone wants to hear that, but before we go on that, like, I'm actually so you know, how has the working relationship been with you guys? Like, anything been thrown at each other? Any heavy objects been thrown at each other?
No, but we have a clear like distinction of who does moms, and it's not him.
There,
He
there,
like messaged a guest and spelled their name wrong. I was like, "Can you delete that? Let me do it."
there are definitely some defined rules. But I have to say, there's a part of me that was very like not very, but like apprehensive. I wonder how this is going to go, but we're just going to go with it. And when we made the decision to kind of do this, one of the big reasons why, aside from just the tax savings, is I just know how much Smita loves real estate, how much she loves design. Like she will spend hours and hours on this shit for like no reason, even though we're not. I'm telling her we're not buying it. We're not buying it. We'll still look for the cheapest version of something, and she just loves doing this stuff. So
You
I'm
sound
like,
like Liz, by the way. So Liz does.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just it's. I'm like, she's gonna love doing this, and this will be great. Maybe maybe we won't kill each other doing it. And to be honest, like it's been probably like what you said earlier. It has been one of the best things about this is doing this together. And we don't have kids. This is something that we're like our project together, and we both just feel so. Um, I don't want to use the word attached, but like it just feels like, wow, I can't believe we just like jumped in, did this shit, and it's like actually working and it's like going really well. And like it's just again, I don't think I'm sure we've got some other friends that do Airbnbs. They've done it all on their own. They can't believe the kind of occupancy we've been getting and kind of what are some of the numbers, et cetera. And the mentorship really made a big difference in order to just keep moving us forward. So even we wouldn't be bickering too much about some decisions
Yeah.
and just like, hey, let's just do this and go. Like at
I,
the
I
end, we'll
mean,
just like, Liz said to do this, so do it.
no,
Done.
look, I remember the the bickering part, right? Like, and I just say this as like a husband and wife combo that did this like 10 years ago. Liz and I would bicker all the time in the beginning about like, what was the right way to handle a situation, and we had a referee. I think would like mitigated a lot of that, and I think that's where I want to highlight too is I think one of you said it's easy to get bogged down because when you don't have the experience, like everything, you just don't know. So everything's important,
Yeah.
right? So you actually can't differentiate like what really is like the important piece and what is important but not urgent and what is like not important. Like it's hard to differentiate without the experience. And that's what we really try to do here. It's like, hey, like there's these things that really matter, and there's things that like matter, but like not. You don't need to worry about it now. You can worry about it later. And there's things that like it might seem really important to you, like a security deposit, for example, but like in 10 years, I've charged like one security deposit over thousands of reservations. Like those things, like you don't need to worry about. So, I think having that, experience and being able to share that with you guys, like, hey, don't worry about this. Like, worry about, like, focus your time on like these three things. Those things that really, really matter. These things, like, don't worry about it later, or they're going to kind of solve themselves. And also just like, sometimes things get messed up and it's okay. Like you can expect like the problems that are coming, just like give you a little preview, like, hey, these things might happen and they will happen, but they're not the end of the world. Like, don't get upset about it. Like you just charge them and move on. Like it's all going to be fine. It's going to work out if you kind of just like follow the process. So hopefully, like, I feel like that for me was like, and that's what we try to impart, give to you guys too. And everyone in the program is like that experience. Like, don't worry about someone, leaving your hot tub cover uncovered. Like that sucks.
Which we
Get
did.
it.
We
I know
did
it
panic
sucks.
message you.
Yeah.
I know. But like I said, it's like, it sucks. I know, but it's fixable. And then we just move on, right? Get the 5-star review and move on. So it's been doing okay.
Yeah. It's been performing way better than I thought it would.
Yes.
Okay? What did you expect? Okay, so it's like a relative statement. So like way better than like we thought this was going to like run into the ground. Now it's been really better, like better than projected. Like kind of what's the just you don't have to give numbers, but or whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
So on a monthly basis, like I was nervous that we wouldn't cover our mortgage. we are covering our mortgage and we're covering all the expenses, like easily, slightly positive. Like, and this is not the high peak season. So I expect that it's going to get even better. Um, yeah. So we
Yeah,
had a few months of
Like, yeah.
major like costs because we were doing a little bit of like renovation.
Yeah, taking into account a couple of projects we had to do after the launch. We are probably, we were saying what through March we're probably even, but that
yeah.
like takes care of that extra expense
The
that we
the
had.
deck the deck work that you had to do. Yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly.
And, April's been pretty good. May's being a shoulder season is about even, but then
June,
June,
July.
June looks
Yeah,
good.
ooh, yeah,
yeah.
June looks great.
I mean, look,
June is easily going to be our best month.
I mean, the businesses, look, there's, 6, in your market, you're gonna make a lot of money in like 5, 6 months. There's gonna
Mhm.
be 3 months where you're gonna be like break even-ish, maybe a little plus or minus, right? And then like probably 2 months where you're gonna like break even negative. But like, those 6 months of like that's when you really, really make the money. All right, so let's talk. I see a question on taxes. So I know everyone, like a lot of people here, tax is a big part. IRS probably took a big chunk out of everyone's, but in April, right? One thing to realize is not just a check that you send in April or the quote unquote refund that you get. It's because you paid all that money and you're getting some of it back, but you know you've paid throughout the year, so it's a really meaningful sum. So how did the tax day go? What did
Oh,
we do?
it was the most beautiful tax day of all time. We, as soon as we so finance person here has been like way on top of the books, and we used the bookkeeper that you recommended and started off the right way from the beginning. And we did everything possible to wrap it all up by the end of January. And we filed our taxes. This is the earliest we ever filed. It was like early February. Even the CPA was like not ready. But we got him everything. He asked for some documents that even the banks hadn't sent yet, but we got it to him, and he went through the numbers and he said, "This is a pretty big refund." He's all, hopefully it doesn't get flagged for one reason or another. And he was kind of joking, but in his dry way, the way David is, like he's
He
as
is.
direct as possible. But I think he was kind of making a joke. Um, Oh, and the best part was like we were just waiting for refunds, and then the refund came on tax day. It
Oh
was
wow,
like, oh, it was like the sweetest thing ever to get the money back on April 15th.
that must be great.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I still can't stop smiling about it.
All right. Can you give us a number?
Sure.
I do gotta ask for a number here.
Yeah.
How much you get back?
So total is just a little under 110K. So it was about 94 in federal taxes and about 16K from California state taxes.
Have you bought Shmita something nice with that money?
No, but surprisingly, that did come up last night, just
It
out of the blue. I would like this. I'm like, what? Uh, so
I
we'll
think I've
be
earned it.
yeah.
I think I agree. I definitely think you earned it too.
Well, she's the genius behind the operation. So
Well, look, I mean, if she didn't have that girl trip planned to Denver for the conference, then maybe you wouldn't have bought.
Mike, thanks, Mike.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
The truth.
All right, last question. Last question for me before we get into some Q&A. Thanks, folks. Thanks for sending questions. I'm getting in on the side. Maybe just look. I think this is a good one. Are you looking back to the version of the kind of pre-June, July 2025 version of you guys who hadn't joined yet? Like maybe like what would you say to that person about if they've done the work, whether it's our program or not, really. If they've done the work on, like, I'm tired of paying all this taxes. I want to invest in real estate. I want to invest in short-term rentals. Like, what would you say to that version? I mean, it sounds like kind of where you guys were. What would you say to that version of yourself that was, on the fence or trying to figure this out?
Okay, I would say, okay, we have 4 things. We thought about it last night.
Okay.
One, don't get stuck in analysis paralysis because you're just like in my head, like make progress. Don't go for perfection. Just do it. Just get it done. Two, this is like it's a lot of work. Like it's not nobody's gonna do the work. Like you have to do the work in It'll be worth it. It'll be great. And then use your resources. Like Michael, you have so much content. You have so many things to read, so many podcasts. There's a lot of stuff out there. I would say utilize it. Like listen to the podcasts, watch the webinars. Like there's a lot of good resources out there. And then the last one, you mentioned this. Things are not, it's going to be a little overwhelming. Things are not going to be like guests are going to damage your stuff. And it's okay. Like it's a cost of doing business, and it's okay. Like get it fixed and move on.
What I would just add is like if you're interested in investing in real estate, like the short term rental thing is legit. Like it, you do make more money than you would with long term rentals. It does take more time, but again, like we were spending a lot more time on this in November, December, January than we do now. I mean, we're not
Yeah.
spending time on this now at all. It's just kind of moving along, and that's what's also been really eye opening, that there is a lot in the beginning, but then it does actually run like you said it would run. And so, like, to me, it's almost like if you've got one full time job or two full time jobs, you don't have the time to truly figure out this business on your own if you really want to get there quicker. So, getting a mentor, I think it's kind of make or break on this. Like if you've got a real job and you're just trying to offset that, you don't want to figure it all out because you just get in that paralysis. So
Yeah. There's the things like obviously there are a lot of answers out there, right? YouTube, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, all those they provide great information, no doubt, right? Really good information. But the analogy I like to use is like the tree of knowledge, like the trunk of knowledge, right? Information are just the leaves on a tree, right? Without branches and a trunk on the tree, they all just kind of scatter. You don't know how to organize it.
Yeah.
So, and you don't know when the information is wrong. So those can be really great resources when you're looking for a specific answer, but you're looking for like an overall strategy and like, how things fit together. They just aren't that great of a resource, to be candid, right? And you need like you need a holistic strategy as someone that's like done it before, where there are things that like just work in a certain way. There's these Lego pieces that just work in a certain way that if they're not organized in that way, they actually just don't work that well. And I really like that I'm really gratified to hear that point. Like in the beginning, like we never say it's not no work. Like you have to do the 100 hours. Like you have to
yeah,
do the material participation. I say that in the very first call with everyone. Like this is not something to trifle with. Like you have to do it. But once you do it, then you do it right. Yeah, it's some work up front, but like anything in life, right? Like you got to kind of, if you want to roll the ball downhill, you got to roll it uphill a little bit first before you get the momentum down. If you set it up right, it really can be that hour or two a week. It's not really, it doesn't take that much time, and then opens up your time for another property or other things you want to do in your life. So hey guys, obviously like really appreciate you guys doing this, and I'm excited to look for number two for you guys.
yeah,
And yeah, no, you guys, it's just been for me, there's obviously, we're building a business, but like it's the community that I really cherish, and getting to know you guys, getting to know the folk, everyone, like being able to help them with this big problem, seeing like the results delivered. Now we have multiple students coming back for number two, which is like really nice, or buying number two. Like Davey bought his second
maybe,
one.
yeah,
Davey bought his second one already, right? Shibaka, who was on here, is in contract for her second one,
yeah.
right?
It's
Like
all,
people are coming back. And I think that's the highest signal that I've done a good job, is that people come back. And Shivaka, thanks for the thumbs up here. And like you're like, we haven't even, this wasn't something that we kind of shared, or this Q&A wasn't something we shared broadly, but there are 99 of you guys on here, more, and I see a lot of like our current clients on here. It's a brand, like I just call it like Brandy, David, Dan Zook, Denise. Thanks for joining, guys. Like appreciate your support. Lena, congrats on yours. You just closed. I'm just scrolling down here. Julie, congrats. I know you guys are working on yours. Mark, who just started working with us. Uh, so many people. Is it Rick? Hey, Rick. Sharika, Shivaka. Uh, yeah. I'm really gratified that you guys have continued to support us, and us to support you as well. You know, as we continue to evolve the program, like when you guys joined, we didn't have all these resources. Actually, we have all like the different weekly calls now we have, right, with for underwriting, for tax, for legal, for AI and technology, lending. Like, we have all these additional resources now. My entire Airbnb management team that's been operating my portfolio the last 10 years, they sit in this when you buy your property, they sit in a Slack. Has that been helpful, guys, having
Huge,
Yeah.
the team?
huge. Oh,
Yes.
huge. Like Nabil, I mean, everybody, but I mean, we probably sometimes first name basis with Nabil and Peter, and those two guys are rock stars. Like you just tell, they've already gone through
You
all
know,
of the issues, and they're just like immediate. They already definitively know the answer for any situation, and to not have to sit there and overthink what we're supposed to do, whether it's for pricing or I had a question about, hey, somebody keeps we have multiple weekends where somebody wants to like long weekends. People are checking in on Sunday, but like leaving Friday and Saturday. How do we can? And Peter like immediately responded about that, and it just like to not have to overthink it, and also like to have the faith that hey, they know what they're talking about. So like even for us, if we had like especially like design and things like that, if we were between like, hey, I think something, which is usually wrong, Smitha thinks something, or at the end, whatever Liz says goes, or whatever Michael says goes. Like it's not up to us. They know we're going with faith, and it's all worked really well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like, those guys have worked with me now for Peter's worked with me for 7 years, Nabil 8 years, all the people that have been like a really long tenure. Like, we've seen thousands of reservations. Like, and I say this true. Like, every situation that you've gone through, we've probably gone through like a couple times actually, and we might have made a mistake the first time, but we could learn. Like, we've had multiple at bats now. Really, any situation that you encounter, we probably have had direct experience or like a very very adjacent experience and can provide that. And I'm really it's really great to see that. I think one, just for me personally as someone that mentored these people too, right? Like seeing them kind of grow, they can grow out of their just they were just managing, guest relations, and now they actually can kind of like help you guys and take their experience. Like it's been for me actually like really cool to see my team kind of continue to grow and being really helpful in these situations because I know how hard it was for us. I was thinking, I was like, how can I help you guys in these situations like where you need that direct answer? It's like, oh, I just we have this team here that's like perfect, and yeah, no, I'm just it's we really developed like this comprehensive solution for you guys here. And as you kind of grow through the program, and folks here that are already in the program, as you go from search to in contract to launch to live, the 4 stages of the program, every different resources you get, and different people come in to help you in that specific situation. Um, so guys, with that, I'll go through some questions, but any last parting thoughts and words before I go to the questions?
No, no. I mean, I just want to thank you again. Again, like we kind of jumped in. We weren't one of these. We weren't, and we've been able to talk to people through the school who've reached out, and even people that were thinking about joining the program. And this wasn't something that we've been like mulling over for a few years. We just kind of we found it. We jumped in. A lot of faith, and we feel very lucky to have picked your program because I feel like we just mesh really well together. Like we've always, again, we feel like we've gotten to know you too, even though we never met, not just from the program, but personally. And so it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome. We're kind of in a little bit of a holding period right now, but looking forward to the next one. And we feel like, hey, whenever the next one happens, we have gone through this once, so that'll be easier. So what felt like a lot of hours on number one should be less than number two, and just slowly grow it, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. When I'm out in California to visit my family, we'll in SF, then we'll do a West Coast
Heck yeah.
Yes.
West Coast,
Yeah.
meetup.
Amazing.
Hey, we've got a bunch of us over here from.
I know, I know. We got to create an outpost out there. No, I know. No, I got to get out there. I haven't seen my folks in a while too, so I got to get out to SF, and we'll do something in the city. I'll make sure to do that before in June. So okay, I'm gonna hold myself to that. We'll do something. We'll do something fun. Do
All right.
something social or something. All right. Let me. So we have about 10 minutes here. I'm going to just kind of click through some questions here. Okay, average right now, average per week. How long are you guys? How long are you guys working on it right now? Per week, how much time do you think you're working on it?
Okay. I'd probably say what would you say 1-2 hours maybe
Yeah.
a week right now.
Okay.
We got another project that we got to deal with for the STR permit, so that's going to take a little bit of time, but we're still there's a construction project, but we're going to do it remotely and feel pretty confident that it'll get done.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So, outside of kind of major projects, since it's pretty light. Now, I'll think. So, was it hard to find a property? How long did it take? So, right now we're averaging about 45 days from intake with me to getting into contract. So that's our median. Our average is right around that as well. So we're able to find you something within. If you're working with us and being diligent in 5 weeks. I'm pretty confident we'll be able to get you something in 5 weeks. We've done it in 2. Some have taken a little bit longer, but we're averaging around about 45 days right now. So really happy with that. And we have a lot of resources now. And as the market, I think right now as spring selling season, and we have more and more data, we're able to kind of really hone in even better now on what markets would be appropriate. So the program we do definitely suggest. So I think that's one of the biggest parts is like where to start and type of property. So that's one of the biggest value adds to the program, as I talked about, is we have a comprehensive intake process that ends with an hour long conversation with me, taking my experience and kind of what I know. We talk with over 100 STR specific agents all throughout the country. They feed us information on what's working in their market, what's not, and you get the benefit of that. We've been doing this for so long that we'll have the best and most up-to-date information on these individual markets, and much better than what you can find on a data aggregator like AirDNA. We do use AirDNA, but we pair that. It's like we don't just rely on AirDNA. We pair that with real-time intelligence from our network, what we're seeing in our portfolio, what we're seeing in our clients' portfolio, what we're seeing with our peers, and combining that to a holistic solution that's customized for you based on, again, what your requirements are. Like, what are you looking to do? What's your financial capacity? What's your time capacity? What are your preferences? So, we take these variables, we put it in, and we find a market and a property that works well for you. And we've done this for many clients, and I'm very, very proud of that. And I think we can do that for you. We're very good at doing that for you if you're interested in joining the program. I think this questions come up for a lot. Like, there are other services out there, and again, not to say we're the perfect one for everyone, right? I think what we're really good at is if you are a high income earner, you and your spouse, you want to save on taxes, you have a little bit of time to kind of work with us, right? This is not a you pay us some money and then you don't have to do anything. This isn't that kind of program. So if you're looking for that, this isn't the right place. What we do is work with you, and you benefit from all of our resources to make this the most efficient process for you. And if you want to save on tax, what I want you to take away from this is, if someone is pitching you that you give them money and they do everything for you, you cannot take advantage of the tax benefits. You cannot take advantage of the STR tax loophole, because the STR tax loophole is extremely clear. You must perform at least 100 hours of material participation on the property, and no one else can and no one else can do more than you. And that all needs to be recorded. So if someone is sourcing a property, doing all the setup, managing all it for you, there's no way you're going to hit those hours, because you're not going to get 100 hours in the right way, and they're going to do more hours than you. So, there's obviously ways to kind of futz around with that. But do you want to hold that baggage, that mental baggage of, not being honest with your tax returns for 7 years? So the IRS can always come back to you. And, for fraud, they can come back forever, actually. So, keep that in mind as you're thinking about this, right? Especially if you're a high income earner, you have a license for your medical profession, what you do. Like, do you really want to take that risk? I wouldn't want to take that risk. But that's a personal risk decision that you'll have to make. But anyone that's pitching you that they can do it all for you and you can qualify for tax benefits, that's just absolutely not true. You can verify with any CPA. That's just absolutely not true. We do have a calculator. So if you email us, we're happy to share that with you. And then when I spoke with your associate, they said the improvements can. Yeah, so there's business credit that you can utilize. That 0% business credit that you can utilize when you buy a property to get your furniture and your design. So that is something that's there. You can get new credit card to transfer it every single year. There is a separate service that provides this. We don't provide this within the program, but it does exist, and we have a client utilize that. So that's definitely something that you can utilize. Colorado has so many restrictions around. Okay, so I think this is a good question around markets where there's restrictions. There's definitely markets that have permanent requirements and a host of other restrictions. And what's really important is to find the right STR agent, an expert that actually really understands these rules and is able to work with us to find the properties that fit within the regulation so that you're able to operate legally out in the open. You're not, hiding around corners. Like, I'm 46 years old. I got 2 kids. Last thing I want to do is, do something that is not in the straight and narrow. Like, maybe that's something for someone, earlier in life or earlier in their career, but we want to do something that's sustainable, that's durable, that compounds value, consistently over time. This is not a get rich. This is, again, if you're here looking for like a get rich quick kind of thing, like this isn't that. You need to hold this property over the long term for you to enjoy the tax benefits. Real estate really creates value by holding it over the long term and letting that compound appreciation work for you, right? This isn't a flip strategy, right? This is something that you hold, you buy a great property that you hold for the long term, enjoy the tax benefits. It's in your portfolio. You pass it on to your kids. You get the basis step up. Like that's what works the best, and that's our strategy for doing this. Okay. I'm gonna do one more question. Yeah, here I saw this right. Company finds the STR property for you. You put in 20%. You get 10% cash on cash for 7 years. Da 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 da. This structure is not typical, and I'd be highly wary of something like this. And that's just me personally speaking. All right. We have our mentorship call in 2 minutes for the community, so I will have to leave after this. But actually, let me stop this here. I think this is quite just enough here. Appreciate everyone's time. I hope this has been helpful as you guys have. Appreciate the questions. We'll answer some of those offline as well. But again, I want to give a shout out to Smita and Ashish. Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to share your story. And yeah, I really I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys make this. Like I said, I miss you guys on the Tuesday calls. Like I know like I miss you guys. You and Victor were the first one. You guys are always the first ones that were there, and so I was like, I don't see you guys as all. Last couple weeks I haven't seen you guys, so I missed you. I don't.
We'll
It's
come
great
back.
to. Yeah, come back. Come back.
We'll come back. We'll come back.
And guys, we have a great community here. We really do. And if this is the right fit, great. We'd love to continue the conversation. If not, I hope you benefited from this conversation and are able to make the right decision for yourself. Right. And again, for us here, we want to do things in a sustainable, durable, do it the right way. Like we want to do things the right way here. We're not going to take shortcuts here. That's our ethos here. And with that, thank you very much. And look forward to working with some of you guys. And have a great evening. Thanks again.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.